Good morning. Good morning. It's Pause with Elizabeth Eleanor. And today we're going to be talking about awakening our sixth sense and giving some, you know, daily exercises so that you can really start moving into that space of acknowledging your magic, ladies. Acknowledging your magic. I'm just moving over my thing so I can see all of the comments. Love for you to say hi when you jump on and hashtag replay if you're watching the replay as always. How are you? I'd love to hear how you're going and what's happening in your world, because we can be distracted. We can be distracted from what's actually going on and all the things that are in the world at the moment that are trying to take our energy from us and keep us looking at the woman in the red dress, as I say. Have you ever seen The Matrix? There's a part in The Matrix where Neo goes, I think it's Morpheus. Morpheus takes him into a simulation of The Matrix, which is our little muggle world here, right? And in that process, they're walking down the street, and actually happens to be shot in Sydney, in town hall area sort of thing, in Sydney itself, which is not far from where I'm living at this present moment. I'm an hour and a half down south from there. And there's all these people in their black ties and suits and off to work and everything, and here's this woman in the red dress that distracts Neo, right? And he's all of a sudden looking at the woman in the red dress instead of seeing one of the agents that's there soon, right? Turns around and there's this agent with a gun pointed at his head. And that's what's happening in the world, and it has been for a long time, but definitely right now we are being distracted by all sorts of crazy stuff that's going on in social media and on the news and all of those things, and we're being distracted from actually stepping into our magic, into our power, owning our sovereignty, connecting in with our higher self, and actually starting to be in the place where we are living in, living heaven on earth and living in our highest potential, right? And so, hey there, Irene. Lovely to have you here. And so I want to talk about awakening the sixth sense, because with everything that's going on, it's really important that we actually start to awaken those other parts of ourselves that are beyond the five senses that we're so used to, right? So we're used to sight, touch, smell, hearing, and knowing. I think it's knowing. I'm not sure what the fifth sense is, actually. That's so funny. And so what we want to do is we want to move into that level of intuition where we are connecting in with the energy field that we are, right? Throw in a comment if you already have that awareness of your sixth sense, like that intuition. You've had little snippets of it, you felt like there's, you've had something that you have picked up on that's more than what you've been able to see. I remember a time I was telling someone, I was on a podcast yesterday, and I was telling this woman about this experience that I had with my sixth sense. And it was the very first time that I finally went, I am going to listen to this far beyond anything else, because, we can live in this place where when we're little kids, we are very attuned to our higher self and our intuition. We sense more than we do when we've been here for a while. And our beautiful parents and the adults that are around us and other people, think, you know, they're doing the best for us, but they often can stifle that connection that we have, right? Don't daydream, stay here, be present, focus, you know, be a good girl, be a good boy, you know, focus on what we're doing in school instead of daydreaming and being out there in the realms, hanging out with, you know, my son used to hang out with wizards and dragons and stuff, right? And so we can stifle that, or have that stifled when we're a child. And so when I was growing up, or, you know, a while back, when I was first waking up spiritually, I was hanging out with this guy that was sort of staying with me and my kids for a while. And I'd noticed some things, like odd things that were happening every so often. But one of the things that happened right at the end was that I was saving up, was a single mum looking after my two kids, doing it tough, being a massage therapist, and I had decided I was going to go to a training to learn how to be an infant massage instructor. And so I had this glass jar on my fridge, and I was just putting money in it, and I had on it, you know, baby massage course, right? And it was going to cover my flights and all the things. So I had this jar, and me being me, of course, I never knew exactly how much money was in there. I just threw money in there when I had it, so that it, you know, it was building up, a nice little egg in there, nest egg in there, right? One day he had been looking after the kids for me, and I had to take him because he was getting a flight to Sydney, and I was running late, and I had to take him home first, right? And I came in, I said, everyone jump in the car, I'm just going to duck and grab some water. So I go to the kitchen, and here's this glass jar, which I've got no idea physically how much money's in there. But as I go past the glass jar, I have a feeling that he's just taken money out of it. And it was nothing, there was no way of getting any evidence that he had done that. It was just this feeling. Well, it happened enough that I finally went, I'm going to listen to this. And I spoke to him about it and said, you know, did you just take money out of my jar? Well, he gaslighted me all the way to his house. How could you think that I would do such a thing to a single mum? You know I love you. I love the kids. Why would you think that I could do, you know, like, who do you think I am? Like, you know, do you disrespect me this much? Blah, 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 right? The whole narcissistic, abusive thing all the way. I dropped him off and I drove home, and there was something inside of me that said, if you don't listen to yourself this time, you're never going to listen. This is like a critical point. And I had this moment, and so I rang him up and I said, you know, I've got no physical evidence to say that I had, you know, that you've done this, but I've just got this feeling, and so I can't have you in my life anymore. You need to go, blah, blah, blah. And he did it again. How do you think that I could do such a thing, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he goes down to Sydney. I was living up in Far North Queensland at the time. He goes down to Sydney. A week later, I get a letter in the mail to say, I can't believe that you worked it out. I don't know how you did, but yes, I did take the money out of there. And it was one of those moments where I really recognized that you know, my higher self had my back. This is critical, ladies, on here. I want you to, always told I was rebellious, but I was rebelling. Yes, hey Karen. Yes, rebelling, right? Reconnecting, remembering. And so these are critical moments in our field, in our life, because what's happening on the planet, in consciousness at the moment and with us, is that we can be distracted by the woman in the red dress, as I was talking about, right? We can be distracted with our 5 senses, when really we need to be developing that 6th sense, that intuition, so that we can sense what's going on in the world and make sense of it for us and know what our role is, what our actions are, what steps to take, whether someone that's standing in front of us is telling the truth or is trying to manipulate or trying to coerce us and influence us in some way. By having that relationship with yourself to yourself, your higher self to your your consciousness and your unconscious, when you can develop and build the three together, that's when you really step into your magic, and you don't go into that feeling of not being safe or not feeling like you trust people, because there's this internal safety, there's this internal trust, and you having this relationship with yourself is all you need to be able to navigate your life. So this is really important because things are really changing on the planet. Who has noticed that things are changing on the planet? Because there's more happening. I did a Facebook Live this morning on my personal page, and I just spoke to my Conscious Creator Circle clients about the fact that there are so many people in my life at the moment. I've got people that are Christian, I've got people that are into astrology, I've got Muslims that I know, I've got so many different religions and different belief systems, and spiritual people all the way through to atheists, right? That are in my life, and so many that have got biblical text and look at the history of things are saying that we are coming to the end times. We are in that process right now. And so right now it's a crucial point in our history, not only as humanity, but also as an individual, for us to be really focused on developing who we are and cleaning up the mess in our field that is holding us back from our highest potential. Because when we are, heavily weighted with the illusion of, Muggle land, right? With the illusion of being just human and, the 3D world, being based in fear and, doubt and all of those things. When we're in that, we cannot see our light. We cannot see the future. We cannot experience the person that's in front of us and connecting with that person, so that we can use and tap into all the different ways that we can recognize their authenticity and be able to communicate with them freely, right? So that's what the sixth sense is, right? And it's really important for us to be connecting with this, because then what we're doing is we're sensing energy and emotions, which that then builds better relationships and personal growth, because through that process of understanding and sensing energy, then we can really deeply connect with those that we love. We can really deeply connect with those that are in our environment, all of those things, right? So let's just really quickly go through and understand, because not everyone experiences the sixth sense the same way. Let me know in the comments how you connect with your sixth sense. I see Peter Ann's on here. Hey, Peter Ann. She does a really great, she's got a little mini event that she put on about all the clairs, she calls it, and all the different ways. So I'm just going to quickly go through them now, right? So clairvoyance is being able to see things, right? Clear seen. So the ability to perceive visual messages or symbols beyond your ordinary sight. Now this is things like a lot of people see 1111, right, or triple numbers. They, you may see the same sort of numbers or the same words or the same sort of colors, right? This is the white car when you want to focus on a white car and you see white cars everywhere, right? Clairaudience is being able to hear, so actually hearing messages. Now this can be through your someone talking to you and guiding you. One of the things that happens with me is that my higher self often has music running for me in the background. I had an experience way back when I first started this Facebook group, and I called it Women of Light. And I had this experience at a business event where I had a massive transformation. All this stuff happened, and as I stood up, this song came on, and I just called this Facebook group Women of Light. I'd only just started it, and this song came on, and it said, light up, as if you have a choice. Even if you do not hear my voice, I am right there by your side, right? And it was one of those beautiful moments. Now, just now, I looked at a post, saw that post, had nothing to do with that song, but that song actually came into my voice, into my hearing, and I knew, because I haven't listened to it for ages, right? I knew that I had to read that post and take action on what was coming through for me, right? Clairsentience is when you feel things, right? You sense through your emotions. I tend to be a little bit of that as well. We don't just have one way of doing it. We have many different ways of, a lot of people have more than one, but you can have one that is sort of more than, stands out from the crowd, you know what I mean? So clairsentience is when you've got clear feeling, so you can sense or feel emotions from people, places and objects. Now that is, I just recognize that I'm an intuitive empath, right? I used to hate the word empath because of the way it's been defined in my spiritual journey. I've watched people, I'm an empath and I can't go to the shopping centre, there's too many people, and I used to get really annoyed when I'd see that, when I'd hear people say that, right? Move into your sovereignty and take ownership of your own energy field. But I now actually understand that that's what I am. I'm an intuitive empath. So one of the things with me is, I'm claircognizant, which is clear knowing, right? I get this feeling, this inner knowing that there's something going on, like that experience I had with the glass jar. I just get this strong sense that there's something going on, and I follow that now with precision because I've had so many years of developing it as I go along. And then one that's not as prolific in many cases is clairalliance, I think that you say it, or clairgustance. So smell or taste. And this can be something that, is a very interesting one because, for example, you can have a taste in your mouth, or, you might smell bread and, think of your grandmother or something like that, right? So there's connection to the smell of something or the taste of something that relates back to a previous experience or something that your higher self is trying to explain to you. So in that experience of developing your higher self and your intuition, our normal daily practices that we do are, things that we already know, right? Things like meditation and mindfulness. Who here meditates on a regular basis? We all know that is something that we should do, right? But not everyone actually. One of the things that I recognize is that our unconscious is really good at tricking us into we haven't got time, or it is not going to make much of a difference, and we get all of these voices, like this doubt or excuses in our head, so that we stay in the space of normal, stay in the space of this comfort zone, because our unconscious doesn't want us to find our magic, because it doesn't know the ramifications of it. It doesn't know, it doesn't like the unknown, right? And the other part of that is our unconscious can have like, how would you say that? Like remnants of previous experiences where it wasn't safe to know things and to trust our intuition. So it tries to hide us, tries to hold us back, so that we are in in its cocoon, so that it feels like it's keeping us safe and protected, right? But actually what it's doing is stifling your energy, your magic, and your ability to be far beyond what this, 5 senses are. So being able to meditate or do mindfulness processes is one of the things that will support you, right? The other one is energy awareness, right? So taking time to actually feel what your energy feels like. My niece came over, my brother and his wife came over on the weekend, and my niece is showing signs of being, she's just like me, right? And she's 7 years old, and her middle name is Elizabeth, so she was named after me to a certain degree. She actually looks a bit like me. Her mum's is Malaysian, and so she doesn't look exactly like me, but you can definitely see that remnants in, sorry, she's Indonesian. I was going to say that doesn't feel right, but she's Indonesian. And so I was talking to her on the weekend and showing her how to just start playing with your energy, right? So one of the things you can do is rub your hands together to create heat and friction, right? And through that, you will be more sensitive to feeling the energy between your hands and starting to be more aware of your aura and the energy that's around your body, right? So you can, feel the energy, feel where your aura is, and sort of start getting used to it being something that feels right and okay, right? So intuitive journaling is another thing that you can do. And we have a really cool little training in here called scripting. So if you want to know a bit more about intuitive journaling, then throw scripting into the search bar, and that will be able to support you to find out more. Visualizing also, like guided visualizations. I've got a few that I've done on Insight Timer. So if you want the link to that, just put Insight Timer in there, or just Insight would be awesome. But the other thing that you can do to really build up subtle energy awareness is things like body scanning, right? So imagine that, closing your eyes and going from the top of your head and feeling your energy from the top of your head and going all the way down through your body, feeling your energy from your arms and your fingers, and not so much with your hands, but more with your energy, right? And so being in that place of body scanning where you can feel your energy going all the way down through your body to the tips of your toes, and then coming back up. Now, the more you practice this, the more you can start feeling where there's areas, often in like parts of your body that are like your elbows or your knees, parts where it may be a little bit blocked. And so you can sort of stop and just feel and focus in that area to see if you can get more sensation, physical sensation coming up, right? Another thing that you can do is being more aware of your environment, right? Pay attention to things that are in your environment. So, for example, getting a crystal and tuning into the crystal, or getting a plant and tuning into the plant, or an animal, or somebody else, right? Seeing how you can tune into somebody else's energy field and connect, and just allow the information that's coming through to be as it is, right? Because what we do is we second guess it, and we that's when our unconscious comes in, and through that process we lose the connection. You've got to just stay in that place of being totally open to whatever you're experiencing, so that you're then connecting in with the energy between two things, rather than feeling separate and then another thing being separate, and then you can't connect in to the experience in between and read what the symbols are, or the interpretation of the energy, right? So there's all sorts of things that you can actually do, right? Another thing is making quick decisions. Practice making quick decisions in your day, because often it's your intuition is the first thing that comes in, and after that is your unconscious. So making that quick decision, and making the decision to go with that first thought, will get you like exponential growth. Unbelievable, actually. Analyzing your dreams is another thing that you can do, and also being aware of symbols that might be in your life. You may find yourself getting, the numbers, for example, and looking at, or animals. Some people have like owls, or a particular type of butterfly, or something that comes into their life, and they go, yep, that's a symbol for me, I noticed that, right? So there's a whole heap of other things that you can do as well. I won't go into all of them here, because there's just not enough time. But everything from interpreting your dreams to really analyzing and connecting in with your body, your environment, and stepping outside of your normal energy field, right? Stepping outside and considering, what am I feeling right now? What information is coming through to me, right? Because the more you do that, the more you start recognizing yourself as not separate, and you start being able to trust your internal guidance, instead of being influenced outside of yourself, being influenced by others, and only influenced by your five senses, right? So we actually have a free monthly mixer. We call it a monthly mixer, and it's on tomorrow. It's at 6:30 Sydney time, so that we can cater for daylight savings, which is painful sometimes. But anyway, there it is, and it's called Belong to Your Own Dream. So this is all about stepping in to take ownership of you and what's going on for you, and really taking responsibility for developing your own intuition, instead of relying by others and being influenced by others that are in your life. So if you're interested and want to know more about Belong to Your Own Dream, then just put dream in the comments and we will send you the link. Mwah. Take care, and we will catch you on the call. See ya.